So I got a graduate degree in international politics, and I always wanted to be in federal law enforcement. My first job was CIA. I was there during 9/11, working in the operations center. In the wake of 9/11, I found out that I studied terrorism and weapons of mass destruction. That was actually the degree I got at the Monterey Institute of International Studies. And so I was an easy recruit into the CIA because, 9/11 had just happened. When I found out that one of the terrorists, Mohammed Atta, had staged his attack from Mexicali, Mexico, and crossed the border, and I speak Spanish, I wanted to go fight terrorism on the southern border. So I ended up jumping ship from CIA, and I joined the newly created Homeland Security Department, and became a special agent. For 6 months, I was tracking those kind of movements, not human trafficking or child exploitation, but money, guns, terrorism. 6 months into that endeavor, I was called into the office of a supervisor, and they asked me if I would please forego everything that I wanted to do with my career and help them start a child crimes unit. I do not know why they asked me. One thing he did say to me was, "You're a young agent, but you're a person of faith, and we know that about you, and that's a requirement, or your soul will be crushed." What I saw was so shocking, Jordan. I thought child sex crimes would be 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds. My brain couldn't comprehend something more evil than abusing that age. The very first case I worked in 2002, I believe, I was given a bunch of VHS videos and some hard drives to look at that had been seized in a warrant. The very first image I saw were there were three little boys that were probably 7, 5, and 3, and they looked like my children. They had blonde hair, blue eyes, and they were being just raped, these 3 little boys, by this pedophile. And I was so shocked, I fell to my knees, I dry heaved, thinking I was gonna throw up. That's what this is, and those kind of videos have increased over the last couple of years by 5,000%. So to be confronted with the reality that there are people on this planet, and like I said, not a few, but millions, who want to indulge in watching 5-year-old children be raped and sexually assaulted in ways that, and I'm sorry to be so raw, to watch children's bodies actually break in the act of sexual assault. Acts that your mind couldn't conjure up if you tried to conjure it up, and that it's real. That is so shocking to the system. And I thought, I can't do this, I can't do this. I started getting help immediately because I didn't want to quit. And that's what this is you're not connecting all the dots, all the ways in which children are being hurt. Not only these 85,000 missing children that are now in the belly of the largest potentially child sex market in the world, but at the same time that's happening, you have groups trying to get rid of the name pedophile and call them minor attracted persons. At the same time, you're sexualizing children, giving them what I used to be able to arrest you for giving children. Now teachers in California and other states are giving this in the name of liberating children sexually or sex education. And now a 13-year-old can consent to gender mutilation and have themselves injected with all sorts of chemicals that might ruin their reproductive system. Well, what are you doing? Consent to do that equals consent eventually to sex with a 50-year-old pedophile. And so if you got to connect all these things. And so I think it's made me a better person, because the weight that you speak of that is on your back is unbearable unless you can give it to some other power, in this case, in my case, to Jesus himself. And that's to subject myself completely and repeat his words in my mind, because I know where he stands on it. He'll take it from me. And I felt that. I have felt that in ways I can't even articulate, that don't make any sense on a scientific level. The burden is lifted. And that's what gives me clarity and courage to do things I otherwise wouldn't dream of doing in order to help children.